Hey, my name is PolishLynx. Welcome to another episode of Narcissu 0, and in this one we are going with chapter 5 of the game, which is called Doughnuts. Let's begin. And so 1 month passed. It was too cold at night and sweltering drink most days, the time of deciding between the school summer or winter uniform. My sister cheerfully left the room. I watched her go while slowly leaving myself. Once I got to the home's entrance, I stopped and scanned around the neighborhood anxiously. Maybe the goof slept in again. And by goof, I meant Kusaka, of course. When she got up early, she came to the house. When I didn't see her, it was because she had slept in. Or maybe she caught a cold? For she had said from the beginning that she wasn't the healthy she hadn't missed yet. Well, I was thinking she suddenly appeared in front of the house. Kusaka was out of breath. It seems she had been her usual late rising self. Were you up late writing in the diary again? When I see her smile in embarrassment trying to evade the question, I know I've hit the mark. This had happened several times this month, and a few patterns could be recognized. It was normal that when Kusaka had the exchange diary the day before, she would often stay up late writing and sleep in the next day. If nothing unusual had happened, she would write one densely packed page. If her day was just a little different, then she would write around 3 or 4 pages. It's fine. Let's go. Walking in the invigorating spring sunshine, we joined the crowd. We walked together on the usual route for students. Nowadays, this was a normal sight. Good morning. Sometimes I exchange greetings with classmates. Lately my delinquent legend might be fading. At the very least, classmates approach me. On the other hand, I couldn't say that with confidence. Confidence. What the hell? I'm messing up the words again. I mean, basically creating different ones. Oh, shut up. For they called me senpai, they increasingly made fun of me because I was always with Kusaka. And each time they teased Kusaka, would increase the distance between us. Well, and then there's her. For I knew that now she wasn't being embarrassed or anything. There's lava there, Kusaka, you're burning. Just like that, she'd hop her way back near me. Really, I think she's enjoying herself too. Yeah, that's what my dad said. New residents was of course in reference to the home. There were generally about 40 residents in the Maki home, with a rate of 1 new resident per month. Are you planning on coming and helping out again? She said this with a laugh, but in truth it was a lifesaver. We don't have enough hands even on normal days, and new resident arrivals were even busier. However, this is the girl who said to me before that she wanted to be a doctor. Well, I don't know how serious about that she is, but I think it's very difficult if you don't study diligently. Hey Kusaka, could you prepare 2 more portions? As soon as school was over, Kusaka headed straight over to our kitchen. Incidentally, she was making donuts. When the resident came, we held a welcome party and had a simple fest. It had become the custom to make donuts for it. How that had come about, I didn't know. It had just sort of happened spontaneously. We didn't normally plan events at the home, so we could call this a unique occasion. Sorry, you're always being made to help.
私もこれくらいの料理だったら得意だから。いやはや、相変わらず仲睦ましいですな。
My sister Hiromi said that, making things more complicated, she was always shirking her duties. Hey Hiromi, why don't you help a little?
別にいいじゃないの。草加さんにやってもらったら？っていうか、いっそうちに嫁に来てよ。嫁？それでお兄ちゃんと2人でこのホームを大繁盛させてよ。
Hey, you guys, what were you saying?
だってそうすれば私の当番も減るし。
And in the end, it's that.
草加さん、うちに嫁に来てくれるよね。それは私だけの一存では。チラ。
What? And Kusaka looking at me. Hey, stop saying glance out loud. Alright, enough nonsense, back to work.
バカなことって言われた。大丈夫だって。ああ見えてお兄ちゃん照れくさいだけなんだから。そうなの？そりゃもう子供の頃から。で、草加さん聞きたい？じゃあとっておきの話があってね。
Those two then got very excited. I'd hear them shrieking and I was pretty sure that they were laughing about me. Somehow before I knew it, they became the best of friends. And after that, Kusaka came here often, the same as ever. Like she was an employee of the home, or should I say she blended into the family. And before I knew it, there was a friendship that was hers alone. Even with that in mind, she really did save us, because we actually were understaffed.
はい、おばあさん、お待たせしました。どうもありがとうね。
The home's usual donuts that Kusaka fried. The weather seemed beautiful today, and we were distributing them to the many residents gathered in the home's courtyard.
ほんと陽子ちゃんはいい子だね。いや、そんな、てれてれ。こんないい子、早くお嫁さんにもらってあげないとね。
And the old woman said this while looking at me, of course, obviously. Well, that can't be avoided, because we're always together, that's what the residents believe. The two of us usually became the topic on conversation for the residents because there wasn't much else to talk about.
それでひろしくん、いつ大式や？
They are still in high school, right? Right? They are on the first year. God damn it. What do you mean ceremony? We are still students.
あら、そうだったかしら?
But your answer suggests that there will be a ceremony. When she played dumb like that, it was hard to answer. Did she really forget? Was she just teasing? It was a delicate situation. Well, she's probably teasing.
でも遅かれ早かれお嫁さんにもらうんでしょ?
An unexpectedly straightforward question. In spite of myself, I pondered how to answer. Kusaka is watching intently. What is up with that interested face?
ほら、陽子ちゃんも期待して待っているんだから、ちゃんと答えないとね。
But dang it, she's totally enjoying teasing me! Frankly, I felt the way that was answered was pointless and more like the punchline of a joke.
では改めて聞くけど、ひろしくんは陽子ちゃんをお嫁さんにもらってあげるのよね。
Just say yes, come on. I know you want to answer yes. I would say yes, in your position. Well, I guess.
肯定された。どうしようかしら。困った。いや、困ってないけど。
Hey, stop already, you! We are always the subjects of the residents' teasing. This rather interesting event would probably warrant a long story in today's exchange diary. Since I'm unlucky, I have a feeling that she'll write 4 pages with illustrations. Alright, class is over for today. Hey Kusaka, let's go! The tedium of class is over with. We took our usual road home. As usual, when we got to the crosswalk, Kusaka jumped across only on the white stripes. We continued walking side by side. Nowadays, it's for awfully familiar. Soon we saw the intersection. Turn left for the home, straight ahead for Kusaka's house. However, without ever discussing it, it had become the pattern every time to turn left like me. Well, I didn't mind her coming with me every day. At first I thought Kusaka's family would worry about her hanging out with me so much. However, the other day I went to Kusaka's house and her mom didn't seem worried. In fact, she seemed pleased and delighted. I was thinking about this while walking when suddenly... yeah? What the heck was this about? I wasn't that surprised about such a strange remark out of the blue. With Kusaka, that was par for the course. I was surprised at the Hiroshi-kun that she was my first name. Till now it would be Makie-kun, my last name. Hey Kusaka, what's this all of a sudden? I was a bit annoyed and refused in a bratty voice. Why? Really, what is she saying all of a sudden? Hey. Why? Listen, Kusaka, it's fine for you, but if you want to call me Hiroshi, then go ahead. Right there. What is wrong with him? Gee, only she. For she was as usually timid, she suddenly got carried away and say embarrassing things like that. And yet, she's one of those who never learns their lesson. After that, she used every opportunity to call me by my first name. It didn't matter the time, place or occasion, because it was a lot like a surprise attack. It was hard to deal with. Yep, good morning. Our usual morning greeting, nothing to bother worrying about during our walk. Then unexpectedly... Just who is Hiroshi-kun, huh? Why? God damn it. Well, from the beginning. She would do this type of thing over and over. I couldn't let my guard down. Kusaka traps. Well, I guess part of her does want to call me by my name, but... Beyond that, she might have wanted to be called not by her last name, but Yoko. And for my part, I didn't feel all that embarrassed to call her by her name. So why won't you do that? But this act in itself was a kind of play between us. And then, several days later, as usual, I had finished writing her exchange diary and was relaxing in my room. No, I'm about to go to bed. If you need anything, I'll help. She said this as she undid her apron. Until just now, she and my sister had been making preparations for tomorrow's breakfast, and they were finally done. Ours was a small home, so it was only natural that all the family had their fair share of duties. With that, however, my mom was head of most of the food duties. Well, I don't want to repeat again. It was actually that Kusaka would bother me if I skipped. That was okay. I left my room and headed to my dad. My mom and sister were in charge of things like food and laundry, and my dad and I were in charge of manual labor and maintenance. So it was inevitable that my dad and I had meetings often. What is it, Dad?
ああ、急なことで悪いんだが、明日新しい人が来ることになってな。
I see. It's fine. I think this has priority. I answered quickly. Now I do my best to go to school without skipping, but even that reason was nothing more than going along with Kusaka. I knew she said she wanted to be a doctor, but that was ultimately her decision. What kind of person is it, this new resident?
村上さんといって男性の方だと聞いている。
Neither of us needed to ask whether he was elderly. By the way, will his family be coming with him?
いや、おそらく一人だと思うが。
Just now my dad might seem a bit unclear. With families there were many that lived far away, but occasionally there were ones where all of them were gone. However, it was rare for someone to be completely alone. When I asked about how in the world it could be,
107号室に入るから。
there?
ま、そういうことだ。お前もそのつもりでいてくれ。
On those last words, my dad left and returned to his room. I knew as well that there wasn't anything more to ask. Room 107, huh? Right now, the Maki home had 21 rooms. Basically, each room was shared by 3 people, but this room alone was a private one. By the way, this first room on the first floor was usually empty. Now there was getting company. Without exception, they were someone who had been temporarily discharged from the hospital. And the next day, I got up earlier than usual today. That was normal in the situation, because the new resident would be moving in throughout the morning.
おはよう、マキエくんって、あれ？
Kusa came by as usual to get me. However, when she saw I was still in my casual clothes, she stopped speaking.
もしかして今日は学校お休みするの？
Yeah, we suddenly have a new resident moving in.
じゃあ、私もお手伝いしようか。
Nah, you go ahead. It's good to be alone once in a while, right?
うん。
I don't think she wants to be alone. Her face as she turned was a little dissatisfied. Seeing Kusaka, I don't know why, but I blurted. You said you really wanted to be a doctor.
うん。一応。
Well then, you can't slack off studying. While I talked, I patted her head and sent her out. That's right, what this place needs is a real doctor. I murmured that soundly while looking at the door to room 107. After that, we rushed to finish all the preparations for the room. Unlike the other rooms, we only had to worry about 107's single occupant. Mostly because we had to follow the instructions given to us by the hospital for his case. Finally, when it had just turned 10 AM, my father and I waited at the home's entrance.
こんにちは。よろしくお願いします。
So saying, the old man gave a bow from his waist. This was aforementioned new resident Murakami-san.
ようこそいらっしゃいました。自分の家のつもりでくつろいでください。おい、ヒロシ。村上さんにホーム内を案内して差し上げろ。
Yes, sir. Please let me take your luggage.
ありがとう。
While I was showing him his room, I also began explaining the house. I had done this countless times now, and it was second nature. This is the TV room. It closes at midnight, but you can use it freely otherwise. The telephone is also located there. If you'd like to use it, please ask. We use this as the dining hall 3 times a day, during breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Continuing like so, I explained the home to him room by room. Up till now, it had all been same as always, but from here on out, it was a bit different from usual. Going straight down the hallway, we stopped when we reached the first room on the first floor. And slowly I opened the door. This is number 107. This will be your room.
ありがとう。落ち着いていい部屋だね。
Even if I mentioned that it's a private room, it's not that much different from the shared ones. And so I continue to explain the slight differences. First, hanging inside the closet is a white cord. Are you familiar with this switch?
Oh, ナースコールかね。
If you suddenly start to feel bad, please use this switch. The switch was made so that when it was used, it would alert all our family's rooms. And so, I'm very sorry, but this room has no key.
鍵が。では、戸締まりは
As for that, we'd be happy to watch any valuables for you. I myself oh.
一番の貴重品だと思うが。
There was nothing I could say in reply. Because you could collapse suddenly, and it would make things harder. The reason it was a corner room was because it was easy for an ambulance to get in. I couldn't say any of that, not to the person himself in front of me, even if it was true. Eventually the old man answered me.
いや、悪かった。困らせるつもりはなかったのに。
No, I'm sorry too. I bowed deeply and left. Looking up, everywhere above me was a clear June sky. Before long it would change into full-scale summer weather. About 6 months probably. I muttered this. So far everyone who had entered that room had been like that. They'd be here about a month, and then they would need to return to a hospital. Repeating this a few times, until they didn't come back. In short, they died. Death was just around the corner, and I was sure the old man was aware of it, too. If a sick person was, an elderly person would be even more so.
ただいま。ってお兄ちゃん、もう仕事終わったの？
It's Hiromi. I saw that Hiromi was back from school. That reminds me, I don't know if you heard, but a new resident came today.
お母さんから聞いたよ。
I see. Then I don't need to explain anything. My sister understood the situation. Just like me, it was expected she would know since she had helped with the home since childhood. Hiromi was certainly thinking the same things right now.
今度の人はどれくらいだろうね。
Who knows? Could only be a month.
ねえお兄ちゃん、どうしてあの人たちってずっと病院にいるわけにはいかないの？
Apparently it's not possible. I was not the same thing earlier as well. A hospital is a medical facility. It's not a place for someone who does the treatment. Conversely, we are not a medical facility. Of course we are not their home either. It's when the relatives live far away. Or if there aren't any relatives to begin with. Therefore, as long as the hospital is a medical facility, then there probably will be no end to people coming to room 107.
そうだ。じゃあ逆にここに医者がいればいいんじゃないの？だったら他の部屋の人も安心だよ。
That's right. That's quite right. I had already thought of what my sister mentioned. Yeah, they would worry less even if there wasn't proper medical equipment. It would be different just to have someone with the knowledge and qualifications nearby. Besides that, for the elderly near-deaf who lived in the home, it would raise their spirits. You see, senior citizen homes didn't exist from the beginning, and for the present, we're fumbling along. They were in the distance, just out of reach. A few hours later. The clock said 3 p.m. It was about time for school to be over. I wonder if she was okay by herself today. For some reason I was thinking that... Kusaka was out of breath from running. It looked like Kusaka had come directly here without going home. Yeah, looks like you booked it back from school.
なんとか。で、まずはこれ。
So saying, she brought out something from her bag and pushed it toward me. Notebooks, something like them. I knew one of them was our usual exchange diary. What are those notebooks?
これは今日の授業のノートだから写しておいてね。
Yeah.
もう、以前に決めたじゃないの。もし学校休んだ時は協力することって。
No, I remember. That's right. It was our first rule. It was made to help each other, since we were apt to miss. But I hadn't thought that it was necessary for me. It was for the studios Kusaka when she missed. After all, I wasn't planning on entering higher education. I mean, right now, the only reason I went to school was to be around her.
あ、それよりも今日は新しい人が来たんだよね。
Oh, he's already come.
じゃあ、いつものお料理手伝うね。
Well, today... Faster than my attempted restraint, Kusaka headed towards the kitchen. Well, she seems perfectly at home at our place now. Nowadays, she ate not just breakfast, but sometimes dinner with us as well. So she started making her usual cuisine.
ねえ、今日はドーナツ何個くらい作ろうか。
No, well, you don't need to make any today.
どうして？新しい人が来た時にはみんなの分も作るんじゃなかったの？
Then enough for us to eat. Even at Kusaka's wondering face, I didn't give her the whole story. For it was a rule not to keep secrets from each other, I wasn't confident that I would explain it correctly.
あら、いらっしゃい、ようこちゃん。あ、おばあさん、こんにちは。
The old lady who had suddenly appeared lived in 302. Lately she had come to see us more frequently. Somehow or other, Kusaka seemed to be her favorite, and whenever she came over we'd always see this old lady. Maybe because of that, Kusaka seemed to have become attached to her.
そうだ、おばあさんもドーナツ食べます？あら、いいわね。もしかして誰か新しい人が来たのかしら？ええ、でも歓迎会はやらないそうです。あ、そういうことなのね。
Trying not to say too much, she caught my eye. Yeah, he's in room 107. I figured she'd understand from that much. This old lady had also lived in the home for several years, so she should know the general circumstances.
お待たせしました。出来たてドーナツですよ。どうもありがとう。いただかせてもらうわ。
We're again in the courtyard, like normal, and Kusaka was disturbing the fried donuts to everyone. Kusaka had made mistakes when she first started frying them, of course, but now she was a veteran. Well, when you do things as often as this, you will improve. It was only because of her, not the new resident coming, because if she had free time, she made something.
だけど陽子ちゃんは本当にいい子ね。そうですか？そんなこと言われたことないから照れちゃいますけど。そうだ。今度ワンピース作ってあげましょうか。ワンピースってええ、こう見えても元仕立て屋さんだからうまいものよ。ああ、そうだったんですか。すごいな。じゃあ来週までには縫い上げるから楽しみにしていてね。はい、ありがとうございます。楽しみにしてます。
Those two squealed happily. I just looked on the whole scene in silence.
あれ、どうかしたの？マキエくん。
No, it's nothing. That night, as always, it was late when I walked Kusaka back to her house. Should I say something? Or should I just not worry about it? In truth, I'd been worrying over it all day. Because for some reason I didn't think I spoke. Hey, Kusaka. About the thing today.
今日のって授業のノートのこと？
No, not that. I mean the lady from room 302.
それがどうかしたの？
Kusaka looked at me with a puzzled expression. I wondered what to do again and hesitated just a moment. I took a short breath and continued speaking. You shouldn't make promises with them.
どうして？
That's... I couldn't say anymore. No, never mind. Don't worry about it.
変なマキエくん。
Yeah, I know what it's about. In the end, I didn't say anything further. It was basically... Well, something happened earlier with the promise as well when it comes to him, and yeah. sad experience. No, to be accurate, I didn't have the confidence, I'd say it right. 3 days later, it happened suddenly. I was on my way back from school as usual and...
おい、ヒロシ。今夜、通夜になったぞ。
Wait, a vigil? For who?
ほら、302号室のおばあさんだよ。
Shit. What? I was shocked. Just yesterday, she seemed fine. Only last night we chatted as normal.
じゃ、俺と母さんは公民館に行ってるから、後を頼む。
Having informed me, they left. It was so unexpected I could feel nothing. But I'm still okay. Though it was unexpected, I had experienced similar situations. I was prepared to deal with it. And so was my sister Hiromi, I would think. She had been through similar situations as well. But Kusaka was different. Once she learned about this, she'd mourn. When that happened, would I be able to tell her right?
こんにちは。マキエくんいる？
Just as I was thinking of her, Kusaka appeared.
ねえ、何かあったの？今日は人があまり見えないけど。
Well... How should I explain? I'm sure that Kusaka hadn't experienced anyone close to her dying. But for me, because of the family business, that's all I knew. It would be too overwhelming for a regular high school student. True as that may be, I can't hide it completely, that would be pointless. After thinking a moment, I continued explaining. Listen, Kusaka... The truth is it's about that old lady.
楽しみだよね、ワンピース。確か来週って言ってたから、そろそろ出来上がるんじゃないかな。
She died today.
何が？
I said she died. That old lady. She didn't understand. Not the words themselves, but rather their meaning. She wasn't able to grasp the reality of the situation. And little by little, her face changed from one of surprise to one of sadness.
マキエくん、それ、本当？
Yeah, there is a vigil today and I heard the funeral is tomorrow. Before long, all I could hear was sobbing. She had always been laughing happily. This was the first time I had seen her cry.
そんな、つい先週まで元気だったのに。
The figure continued to huddle in the hallway crying. It was completely heartbreaking. I never knew what the best thing to say in this situation was. In past situations I wondered if I should console or if I should encourage. In countless situations the world over, the right words were, "It's a shame." When I'm faced with the situation myself, all I'm able to do is remain silent. And that night, we went to our usual beach after a long absence. The sound of waves echoed around us. There was no one on the pitch-black beach. The boundary between dark sky and ocean had dissolved. There was no end to the horizon wherever you looked. Meanwhile, Kusaka's long hair fluttered in the breeze. She held the dress that the old lady said she was making. Her face, usually embarrassed, was a wimpy, troubled face. Lonely, and in some respects, a solemn expression.
ねえ、マキエくん、前に言っていたことって、これのこと？
You can't make promises with them?
うん、その通りかもね。
I knew because for as long as I can remember, I had seen it come to them at the home. Death. To vanish from the world. It came for everyone. You couldn't run or hide from it. Always living and coming. It will never end.
なんか、まるで、順番待ちの待合室みたいだね。
Yeah, however we don't go in order. Yeah, I didn't know who decided who would be the next to go. Call it fortune or misfortune. That's who chooses the next person.
やっ 様が決めているのかな。
Who knows? I'm sure no person knows.
じゃあ、もしも私がお医者様だったら、救えたと思う？あのおばあさんを。
Well, I just didn't know. Above all, by its nature, the home was not a place for sick people. In general, the elderly were just people closer to death than a regular living person. The home was just like a waiting room. Nevertheless, we didn't go in order, so what in the world could be done?
でも、私は神様にはなれないから、お医者様になるしかないよね。
As she said this, Kusaka looked somewhere off into the distance. The day we met a new rule. The missed school notes, the Doughnuts, the exchange diary, the crosswalk lava always being together. And so we added a new rule. Don't make promises with them. Their future is closed, so do not speak of it. It was something that I had once told myself. Okay. So let's end the episode here. And tomorrow we'll go with chapter 6. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one. Bye bye. If you want to get informed every time I upload new videos, click that annotation floating above the text, subscribe to never miss a video. To watch one of yesterday's videos, click that annotation around video on the left. Annotation around the cover of the game, which is located on the right, will get you to the playlist of the series that is currently being uploaded to the channel. When it comes to following me in other communities, all the links to these are in the description.